What's up, YouTube? And today is an exciting day. I'm super stoked. We are pulling the 6.0 out of the old truck, and we're going to be hopefully bringing it up to the house. I do have a couple people coming down for parts. Once this is out, we have to get the transmission off. Someone offered $100 for it. Because of so many unknowns, I don't want to, end up screwing someone down the road. I said, okay. I told them what's wrong. Well, not really wrong, but what I know about it. And I have a whole bunch of service records on everything but the transmission. So the differential, I have a huge amount. That thing was just replaced about 4 years ago, and it didn't get many miles after that. So we're gonna keep the rear end out of this thing because who knows what we'll end up doing down the road. It might be advantageous to have that. The other thing is, oh yeah, I have a person coming down from Vermont for pretty much the rest of the car parts or truck parts. Guys, if you ever want an LS engine, if you want to go the 6.0, the 5.3 or whatever, go with the 6.0, seriously. You can get it out of a utility truck. They're a lot less expensive. But get the whole truck, part it out. Holy crap. The parts go so quick. I've parted out cars for years. I'm still selling car parts from the Honda. I've never sold so many parts and it's like that. So, yeah, future reference, buy the whole truck, scrap it. Don't just scrap it, sorry. Dismantle it. Like, we scrapped the truck the other day, but there was no dismantling it. That thing there was nothing left on it that was any good. And also, she was a good work truck, so. Anywho, I'm excited. Guys, all we really have to do at this point, because I was kind of tinkering with it yesterday, I did a little bit without you guys, and by a little bit, I mean a fair amount. It's just really dark in here and you can't really see what I'm doing. So this is all gutted. I have one person that wants the dash cluster. I have a whole box of parts that I'm going to sell on eBay, and I probably do one more sweep of the truck to make sure there's nothing left on it that I want to sell. But the rest of it, pull the harnesses out, that type of stuff, sorry. But that's the engine pull day, guys. You guys excited as I am? Because, oh, yeah. Next part is to get that frame down for sandblast, which would probably be actually this Monday. We'll see what happens. Kind of have to work around everybody's schedule, so. All right, guys. Let's dig right into this. Get the engine pulled, transmission separated, and maybe we might be able to get it up to the house today. I don't know where I'd really put it, but I'll find a place because then I don't have to come all the way back down here. Which, if you guys ever want to have a nice quiet ride with absolutely no one on the road, wake up at like 5 o'clock on a Saturday and drive about 30 minutes to a warehouse. There's like no one on the road. Except for, I gotta say, I know it's a little bit long-winded. My heater just came on, so I'm sorry if it's loud. Shout out to my favorite place to get coffee, Stewart's Shop. Also, the Farm to Market little corner store near me makes phenomenal coffee as well. So those two are my favorite coffee places. Not that you guys needed to know that, but I love coffee. Because I don't get enough sleep. Let's pull this engine. This is what we got going on, guys. We have the exhaust manifold still on the actual engine itself. The exhaust kind of goes down about, 4 foot or 3 foot or something underneath the truck. We do need to separate that still. I want to keep the manifolds on right now. Not that I'm going to use them or anything, but by leaving them on, it gives me an opportunity to properly soak the bolts, which I have not done yet, and I do not want them to break, strip, or anything. I want them to come out of the head very easily. Well, as easy as possible. That will give us the opportunity to kind of save the head, clean it up, and sell it. I don't know how much we'll be able to make off the heads because they are high mileage, but they're probably just fine. I definitely want to switch over from the 317s to the 799s. That will change it from the cathedral to the rectangular and get larger air valve. So you'll have a much better airflow with the 799s, and will really allow us to get a little bit more power out of the engine. And as you build up more power will be available to you because it's kind of like an exponential thing. For now, we're going to stick with this intake manifold. I have an intake manifold in mind that I really, really want. Partly because I need more coffee. Partly because it looks badass, and it'll give us 2 throttle bodies. And with my idea for the way that the header is going to be built, we're going to want two throttle bodies. And sorry guys, perhaps I should have slept a little bit longer. Oh, so badass, better airflow, should have actual better air, throttle response. So one of the reasons why, if I could, I would go with individual throttle bodies on this. That'd be very expensive. That's going to happen with the 1UZ. The reason why you have individual throttle bodies, you have less volume of air between the actual cylinders and the throttle body. So when you open the throttle body, the air has to go a little bit less distance. That's where your negative pressure is. When you have a larger setup like this with the throttle body up here, you have an entire volume of air right here that has to fill up before it starts filling the cylinders. Now, does that translate to huge latency when you put your foot down on the pedal? No, but it does cause a little bit of latency. So switching over to individual throttle bodies, and you can still do it with fuel injection and everything, just with individual throttle bodies, you get a lot quicker. With 2 throttle bodies, same kind of concept. You'll still get the same kind of... You probably get a little bit more horsepower, a little less torque. So, I mean, kind of take it on face value. There's a lot to go into an intake that some people don't think about. The longer runs, you get more torque, but you also lose throttle response. So you lose a little bit of horsepower. So... You know, it's a little bit of thoughts about the weirdest things that kind of get you where you need to go. But this one, I want to do the 2. I'm trying to talk to the guys down at Edelbrock, see if maybe I can work out a deal. They are absolutely a phenomenal intake setup, and I really want it. Anyways, we'll keep working, and yeah. I'm going to have some coffee before keep going, actually. I'll be right back, guys. Now that I've tried taking those bolts off, and it's not really going well, so I'm going to try taking this one off here. Be very careful not to... I'm trying to just kind of shock it. There we go. One's loose. Sorry, guys. Oh, boy. I guess I don't generally like to go to a bigger wrench on these because more torque does not equal more better. More torque equal more broken. But there's a couple other things we can try. We could put one of my smaller sockets on that I don't care about and put it on there and tap it and try pulling it, and then tap it and then try pulling it and see what happens. Downside of these particular ones is, even though they're Harbor Freight and I don't mind damaging them, they are not just standard size. They're like the star pattern, which is great because it still fits them and it still fits star, you know, it's multi-point and everything. But biggest problem, unlike this, which fits perfectly around the bolt, you have more of a chance of rounding off the bolt with one of these. However, those are snap-on. I don't want to whack those. You see how much play it has? But we'll be very careful and hopefully we won't strip the bastard. Yeah, I think more bigger means more better right now. Hopefully doesn't mean more broken today. So when putting things on, too tight equals two pieces. Taking things off, more bigger means more broken. Keep that in mind. Once again, the problem with this is my concern, multi-point, the SAR pattern. I don't want to strip them. That's exactly what I don't want to do. And that's pretty much where we're at. I need to find a proper size one. So if you do start to strip, what I would recommend, at least generally this works for me, is grab yourself, seeing how this is metric, seeing how this is metric, fuck. Now that one started to strip, what I did was I got a proper shape, and I actually went ahead and got a standard, even though this is all metric. So we can go ahead and line this up and tap this on. So it's going to be a lot tighter of a fit because of the way everything equals out. So hopefully more bigger, more broken. So that's precisely what we didn't want, but we can extract the bolt. It's just real pain. If you're not competent with using easy outs and stuff like that, which this is going to be, I'm going to have to use a torch and everything. It's going to like to heat up the alloys around it and get this out. If it doesn't work that way, have a machine shop pull it out. That one came loose. That one came loose. Alright guys, the rest will come out fairly easy. That blows about the back one though. It's very frustrating. But, like I knew it was going to happen. So we'll get these pulled off, get the manifolds pulled off, get the exhausts out of the way, and I think at that point it's just a matter of getting the engine mounts out. Well, before we start doing that, we'll get it hooked up to the jack so that we don't have to worry about, it falling. Shouldn't pull the mounts out until you do that. That would be pretty dumb. So, give me a minute. I'll be right back. We did get very lucky as the bolt did break outside of the head. And I don't know how well you can see it right there. It is sticking out enough that we should be able to put the head through a couple heating cycles and either use a pair of vice grips, or we can tack weld a little nut onto this. While every time we do that, including when we weld something on, it will be a heat cycle. We spray a little bit of penetrant oil into the actual thing. And then each time, just do a little bit of tap. That should help the penetrant oil get further and further into the threads. And then eventually we should be able to pull those out. The other option is take the heads off and bring it down to a machinist. Now, because we're not planning on reusing these heads, something I'll probably do at home, because I don't want to put money into heads that I'm going to try to turn around and sell. We do have one other side to do. This is going to be a little bit more difficult with the steering right in the way, but I don't want to dismantle the steering, so I'll try again to take off below the header on this. I might just cut it off. I should be able to actually get a Sawzall down there, but I have a feeling we're going to have to do the same thing, just in much closer contact to everything around it. So it is what it is. We just got to keep working. All right, guys, we are to the point where all we have to do is just put the cherry picker on here, go ahead, disconnect the 2 bolts holding it on, or however many bolts the engine mounts have on this, and then disconnect the transmission mounts, and then just pop it right on out. And hey, the floor in here may not be the best because the building is old as all heck, but it's a heck of a lot better than doing it on the ground when it's the engine's hoist is sinking in the ground. This is awesome. I'm like spoiled today. I love it. Let's get this thing pulled out of here. Well, guys, we're ready. We're ready for pulling. Now, if you look real closely, you'll see I actually used a tow chain because the other chain's way too short to be able to make it from over and under and all that wonderful stuff. However, it does clear the manifold, so I don't worry about breaking that. Don't want to use it, but we probably will end up using it because manifolds are expensive. Although the truck manifolds are supposedly really good for torque, which makes sense. And yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hooking right to the head. Hopefully it holds up just like every other engine I've ever pulled that way. But aluminum heads should be fine because of the way things actually work. Anywho, the only thing left now is just to put tension on it, take the bolts, get underneath, take those bolts, right out. I double checked, make sure there was nothing attached, but I can't guarantee that until we start yarning on it. But with everything dismounted like this, dismounted. I guess that's correct. Close enough anyways. What was I saying? I need more coffee. No, everything dismounted or removed off the sides, it's going to be very easy to pull. I think this is going to be the easiest engine pull I have ever done. Knock on wood. Because I don't want this to become the most traumatic engine pull I've ever done. Let's go. Well, it's out, guys, and we just have a little bit of work yet to get this off. I just want to get the transmission on here so that when the person gets here, I can just push it out to their vehicle. But yeah, we had a couple of the people come for parts today. It was one of those situations where definitely doesn't go as planned, and you know, after everything's said and done, you have a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. But you know, that is what it is. It's kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. I won't get into it. It'll just make me a little annoyed. So, well, it's done and over with. It's the parts are gone, and whatever. So, the engine and transmission have to be separated so we can get this out and get a couple extra bucks and go home. I want to probably come back down tomorrow for the engine. I don't know what time it is, but I know I'm getting pretty hungry. So, anyways, yep, we're almost there, guys. Well, we have a long road ahead for the overall project, but we almost have the engine up to the house, so that is a giant plus. So let's keep working. Oh yeah, and we had a bit of a disaster with the fluids, so I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy some large bags of cat litter or something and start cleaning up. Let it at least soak overnight. So this has to happen yet, so let's keep working. Well, that was probably the most stubborn transmission I've ever had to take off. The pins were actually pretty much rusted right on there. So because the rust created a little bit thicker of a material or guide, if you will, it was stuck right in the 2 pins. But we managed to get it off. It was not an easy task, but we did get it off. Now for tonight, I need to go and get stuff to clean up this god-awful mess I made. And I think I got the transmission off just in time. I think the person said he was gonna be here around 1:20, and it is like 1:15. I mean, I was really struggling to get that last, like, it was, I just needed enough to get the pry bar in there just to break it loose, and it just didn't want to even give me a centimeter. Didn't even want to give me a millimeter. Oh, it was horrible. Brutal. So, very excited that the engine's out. I'm very excited. I would be even more excited once the engine's home, the frame is blasted, and it's at least sitting on the frame. But, oh yeah. I think the goal will be probably tomorrow. I'm going to do a lot of house cleaning, if you will. I want to clean the garage a little bit and move the Buick engine into a storage type of situation. So I need to get it off that engine stand. But anyways, guys, I'm beat, utterly beat. I'm done for the day, but I am so very excited that we have the engine off. Look at that thing. She was pretty hard. I really thought it'd be a lot easier, but you know, I don't know, nothing's ever easy, right? You guys know. No matter how hard you plan, nothing ever goes the way you want it to. So anyways, guys, you have yourselves a wonderful night. And if you like this content, if you want to help build the Buick GS with me, remember, hit that like button and share. You have yourselves a wonderful night, and stay dirty out there.